Picture this. She cancels on you, hides you from her world, but calls you up when she's bored or lonely. Deep down, you feel something's off, but you brush it aside. That's how men end up stuck as the plan B, the guy she keeps on standby while waiting for someone else. And let me be blunt, if you ignore these red flags, you're trading your dignity for breadcrumbs. The good news? You don't have to, because there are 7 clear signs that will expose exactly where you stand in her life. Stick with me, because once you see them, you'll never accept being her backup plan again. And here's the truth. Being someone's backup doesn't start with something obvious. It starts in small, almost invisible ways. The first one is so common that most men overlook it, and yet it tells you everything you need to know about your place in her world. It's the moment you realize she only reaches out when she's lonely. Number 1. She only reaches out when she's lonely. Let's cut straight to it. If a woman only remembers you at midnight or when her life feels empty, that's not attraction. That's convenience. And convenience is not the foundation of any real relationship. It's a trap. Let me tell you about Tom. He's 52, a senior engineer who spent years building a solid career. On paper, he's the type of man any woman would be proud to have. But with this particular woman, the pattern was always the same. He would be relaxing at home around 11 at night when his phone lit up with that familiar, "Hey, stranger" text. The rush hit him instantly. His chest tightened. His mind started racing. "Maybe she finally misses me," he'd reply, full of energy, sometimes even picking up the phone to call. They'd chat, laugh, maybe flirt a little. Tom went to bed feeling like he had a shot. But here's what happened the next morning. Nothing. No follow-up, no plan, not even a "how's your day?" Silence. She had drained a bit of comfort from him, and once she felt better, she disappeared. Tom didn't see it at first, because in the moment, attention feels like affection. But that late-night text wasn't about him. It was about her needing a quick fix, and Tom was just the vending machine. Push the button, get a snack, and walk away. Here's the psychology behind it. When someone only calls you in their low moments, you're not their priority. You're their safety net. You're the placeholder until the person they truly desire comes back around. And the most dangerous part is, men convince themselves it's better than nothing. They confuse being needed with being wanted. But those are 2 very different things. So what's the solution? Stop rewarding temporary attention with permanent investment. If she only texts you at midnight, don't jump. Test the pattern. Next time, don't respond instantly. Instead, wait until the next day and see if she actually wants to connect when the sun is up. Better yet, create a simple rule for yourself. If she doesn't reach out during her good times, she doesn't deserve you during her lonely times. This shift alone will tell you everything you need to know. Because a woman who values you won't just dial you up when she's bored. She'll want to share her wins, her joy, and her plans with you. If all you ever hear from her is the late-night echo of her loneliness, you're not her partner. You're her distraction. And here's the punchline. A distraction is always temporary. Now, you might think, well, at least when she's free, she'll pick me, right? Wrong. That's where the second sign comes in. Number 2, you're never her first choice. And here's the brutal truth. You already know it in your gut. You can feel it every time she cancels at the last minute, every time she forgets your plans, every time you get slotted in only after her week magically clears up. That's not priority. That's standby mode. Let's break it down. When a woman truly values you, she doesn't search for excuses. She makes room. She'll rearrange her schedule. She'll carve out time because you matter. But when you're the backup plan, you'll notice a different pattern. You're treated like an optional interview slot. She cancels on you because something came up, then reschedules, then cancels again. Finally, when you do meet, it's not because she made you a priority. It's because everyone else dropped out. Here's the psychology at play. People, not just women, make time for who they want. If she's constantly putting her coworkers' birthdays, a friend's random errand, or even her ex's dog-sitting needs above you, the message is loud and clear. You are not her number one, and no amount of waiting on the sidelines will change that. So what's the solution? Pay attention not to what she says, but what she prioritizes. Ask yourself, when she builds her week, do you get the front seat or do you get squeezed into the leftover space? And here's the action step. Stop being available for last-minute scraps. If she cancels twice, don't keep bending. Next time, tell her directly, I value my time. If you're not sure, don't book me in. That simple boundary will either expose her disinterest or force her to respect your presence. Because a woman who actually wants you doesn't let you dangle on standby. She moves mountains to see you. If you're waiting around like a substitute teacher hoping for a call, you're not her man, you're her rain check. And here's where it gets even darker. If she doesn't see you as worth scheduling in, chances are she doesn't even want to show you off in her real life. Which brings us to the third sign. Number 3, she hides you from her world. When a woman is proud to have you in her life, you'll feel it. She'll introduce you to friends, mention your name in conversation, maybe even drop a casual photo together on social media. It's her way of saying, this man matters to me. But when you're just the backup plan, the script flips. Everything becomes secretive, shadowy, tucked away. Take Richard, for example. He's 46, a successful small business owner. For 6 months, he'd been seeing a woman who was fun, charming, and always claimed she was just private about relationships. Richard thought it made sense. After all, some people do like to move slowly. But the longer it went, the more bizarre it felt. He never met her friends. He never bumped into family. One night, while they were at a restaurant, she spotted someone she knew, and instead of introducing him, she literally switched seats to keep him out of sight. Richard sat there with a half-finished drink, realizing he was living in her shadows. Here's the psychology. When someone is proud of you, they want you visible. Hiding you is not about privacy. It's about priority. She doesn't want the questions. Is he your boyfriend? Are you too serious? Why? Because she knows she has no intention of giving you that role. You're not her permanent choice. You're her temporary fix. Now let's be clear. This isn't about rushing to meet the parents in week 2. But if months pass and you're still invisible, if she can parade her girlfriends and her dog on Instagram, but somehow you never make the cut, that's not an accident. That's a decision. So what's the solution? Test visibility. Stop accepting the late-night backdoor rendezvous. Ask her openly. We've been seeing each other for months. Why haven't I met anyone important to you? Her answer will reveal more than her actions already have. And here's the hard action step. If she keeps you hidden after that, stop investing further. Don't let yourself be the man in the shadows while she saves the spotlight for someone else. Because men who matter are claimed, not concealed. If she's keeping you a secret, it's because she doesn't see you as a future. And the longer you stay in that role, the more she'll treat you like an option she can tuck away whenever it's convenient. Now, here's the kicker. Even if you do make it into her life, even if she lets you sit at the table, there's another trap waiting. It's when the effort doesn't match yours, when you're carrying the weight while she coasts. That's the fourth sign you need to watch for. Number 4, the energy never matches yours. Think about this. Every relationship should feel like a dance. You step forward, she steps forward. You give, she gives. But when you're just her backup plan, that balance disappears fast. Suddenly you're doing the heavy lifting while she just coasts along for the ride. Here's what that looks like. You send a thoughtful message, pouring effort into your words, and she replies with a one-word answer. Cool. You suggest a date, she says maybe, but never follows through. You're always the one initiating, planning, checking in. Meanwhile, she treats your effort like background noise, something she'll respond to only when convenient. Psychologically, this is a dead giveaway. When a woman is genuinely interested, her energy will mirror yours. She'll surprise you with a call, text first just to check in, maybe even plan something on her own. That's investment. But when she sees you as a placeholder, She gives you just enough to keep you hooked, 20% at best, while you keep pumping in the other 80. And here's the brutal part. That's not interest. That's tolerance. So what's the solution? Pull back and measure. Stop carrying 100% of the load. If you find yourself initiating 8 out of 10 times, drop it down to 3 and see what happens. Does she step forward to fill the gap, or does the whole thing collapse? That test alone will tell you everything, because if she lets it die when you stop pushing, it was never alive in the first place. Here's the action step. Set a personal boundary. I will only match the energy given. That one rule protects you from overinvesting in someone who's just coasting. Relationships thrive on reciprocity, not one-sided effort. And let's cut the excuses. If she wanted to, you would feel it. If she keeps you chasing while giving you crumbs, you're not her partner. You're her Uber driver, carrying her wherever she wants to go without any destination in mind. But here's where it stings even more. Sometimes she doesn't just coast. She actually rubs salt in the wound by talking about other men right in front of you. And that's where the 5th sign comes crashing in. Number 5. She constantly talks about other men. Let's not sugarcoat this. When a woman is truly into you, she won't risk ruining it by parading other guys in front of your face. But when you're her backup plan, suddenly her conversations are full of names. The ex who still calls, the coworker who flirts, the just a friend she can't stop mentioning. Here's why that matters. When you're the man she desires, you are the focal point. Her attention narrows. But when she doesn't see you that way, she uses you as her sounding board. Sometimes it's a test to see if you'll get jealous, to check if you'll fight harder for her. Other times, it's not even about you at all. You've simply become the safe place for her to vent about the man she really wants. Either way, you're not in her heart, you're in her audience. And let's be honest, the moment you feel like her therapist instead of her man, the dynamic is broken. Because a woman who respects you as a potential partner won't sit across from you at dinner describing how amazing her ex used to be. She won't casually drop other men's names to your face. The fact that she feels comfortable doing so means she doesn't see you as a threat. She sees you as too safe. And too safe is another way of saying not desired. So what's the solution? Cut through the noise. The next time she starts raving about another guy, don't laugh it off. Say this calmly. If he's still that important to you, then maybe I'm not the right person for you. That one line draws a boundary. It puts the responsibility back on her shoulders. Either she stops using you as her emotional dumping ground, or she reveals that you were never in the running at all. Here's the action step. Pay attention to her words. If she keeps other men in the spotlight, remove yourself from the audience. Your role is not to be the guy she vents to about someone else's attention. And here's the brutal punchline. If she feels comfortable talking about the men she desires while sitting right in front of you, you're not the prize. You're the placeholder. Now, if that realization stings, buckle up, because the next sign is even harder. It's when the entire relationship feels stuck, like the engine is running, but the car never moves forward. That's the 6th sign. Number 6, the relationship stays stuck in neutral. You've probably felt this one before, that uneasy sense of going through the motions without ever moving forward. It's like sitting in a car, engine running, but the gear never shifts. You're spending time, you're investing emotion, but months later, nothing has changed. No labels, no deeper commitment, no clarity. Let's talk about David. He's 58, divorced, and after years of focusing on himself, he started dating again. For 8 months, he saw a woman who was warm, affectionate, and always seemed just on the edge of taking things seriously. Every time he brought up exclusivity, she'd smile and say, "Let's not rush things. Let's just see where this goes." At first, David thought she was being cautious, but then he noticed something strange. She was more than willing to plan a vacation with her girlfriends 6 months in advance, but couldn't decide if he was her boyfriend after 8 months of dating. That's not caution. That's strategy. Here's the psychology. When someone truly sees you as their first choice, progress happens. It might move slowly, but it moves. More time together, deeper talks, shared plans for the future. But when you're the backup, she feeds you breadcrumbs, tiny doses of affection, just enough to keep you hooked, but never enough to solidify anything. This gray zone keeps you available while she leaves the door open for someone else. So what's the solution? Set your own timeline. Not an ultimatum shouted in frustration, but a private rule you hold for yourself. For example, if after 6 months she still can't define what we are, I will walk away. That's called a deadline with dignity. Because without one, you'll keep accepting vague answers while your time, your most valuable asset, gets drained. Here's the action step. Pay attention to consistency. If she can commit to her work schedule, her friends, and her hobbies months in advance, but somehow can't commit to you, that tells you everything. Don't excuse it. Don't keep waiting in neutral. A woman who wants you will want progress. A woman who doesn't will keep you stuck until someone else takes the wheel. And here's the harsh reality. If you don't enforce your own standard, she'll keep you exactly where she wants. Close enough to lean on, but never close enough to claim. Now you might be thinking, at least she's comfortable with me. At least I don't have to worry about losing her. But that's exactly the next trap. When she's too comfortable letting you chase, it means she doesn't fear losing you at all. And that's the 7th and final sign. Number 7. She's too comfortable with you chasing. This is the most dangerous place for a man to be, because once she knows you'll always be there, she stops investing altogether. She no longer worries about impressing you, surprising you, or even holding your attention. Why? Because deep down, she knows you're not going anywhere. And when there's no risk of loss, there's no effort to keep you. Here's the psychology. Comfort without commitment breeds complacency. She treats your loyalty like a bottomless pit she can dip into whenever she feels like it. She doesn't chase because she doesn't have to. And while you're busy proving your devotion, she keeps her energy wide open for the man she truly wants, the one she feels she could lose. That's the bitter irony. The more loyal and predictable you are, the less she values you, because you've removed the one thing that drives desire: uncertainty. So what's the solution? Reclaim your leverage. Stop being the man who's always available. If she doesn't invest back, step back. If she doesn't pursue, stop chasing. Give her the space to feel what it's like when you're not automatically there. That shift alone will expose the truth. Either she steps up and starts showing you effort, or she lets it fade. And either outcome is clarity, something you deserve far more than endless chasing. Here's the action step. Set a simple personal rule. Never give more than you receive. If she's giving 20%, you stop at 20%. If she's not initiating at all, let the silence speak. Real interest reveals itself when you stop doing all the work. And the brutal punchline is this: if she's too relaxed, too smug, too casual about your presence, you're not her dream man, you're her guarantee. And guarantees don't inspire passion, they inspire neglect. Now that you've seen all 7 signs, the real question is, what do you do if you recognize yourself in them? That's where the conclusion comes in, and it's going to hit even harder. So let's bring it all together. You've just walked through 7 unmistakable signs that you're not her first choice. You're her backup plan. She only reaches out when she's lonely. She never makes you a priority. She hides you from her world. The energy never matches yours. She talks about other men right in front of you. The relationship never moves forward. And finally, she's far too comfortable letting you do all the chasing. If more than one of these signs feels uncomfortably familiar, you already know the truth. You're not the man she's choosing. You're the man she's keeping on standby. And that's not love. That's not respect. That's convenience. Here's the hard truth you need to swallow. Being someone's plan B will destroy your confidence, your time, and your dignity. Every day you stay in that role, You're reinforcing the idea that you're okay with being second best. But you're not. You shouldn't be. You deserve to be with someone who chooses you first, every single time, without hesitation, without excuses, without keeping you hidden in the shadows. So what's the next step? Reclaim your standards. Start observing her actions, not her words. Set boundaries that protect your time. And if you find yourself recognizing too many of these signs, it's time to walk away with your head high. Because leaving a woman who doesn't value you is not a loss, it's a liberation. Remember this, it's better to be single with dignity than attached as someone's safety net. You're not meant to be the backup battery that keeps her running until she finds someone else. You're meant to be the first choice, the man she respects and invests in. If this video woke you up, do me a favor, hit subscribe, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below about which sign hit you the hardest. And remember, you are not anyone's plan B. You're the prize, and it's time you start acting like it.